Hi there and welcome to our first market update video of 2023. So this is the video where I put my head on the block, so to speak, and give you our predictions for what's in store for the property market this year. So keep watching for that prediction. But before we do that, we're just going to give you a feel for how things have started off with the property market in our region so far in January. It's really interesting to see that so far the Armageddon predictions that we heard from some sections of the media have not materialised. We were hearing reports of house prices crashing, but so far, whilst it's early days, activity levels have been quite encouraging. So actually close to half of the properties that we listed for sale in December last month already have a sale agreed on them or are about to go under offer, and the remaining 50% or so have plenty of interest in the form of viewings or offers. What we can also see is that the number of buyers registering with us so far in January this year, whilst down on the same period 12 months ago back in 2022, the numbers are very similar to what we saw in 2019, and that's really significant for us. You might have heard me say this before, but 2019 was what us in the industry feel was the last normal property market we experienced. The last 2 years, so by that I mean the latter part of 2020, all of 2021 and the first half of 2022, they were a real bonanza for the property market. And then what we saw in the second half of 2022, we saw those energy prices spiralling, rising interest rates and rising inflation, the cost of living crisis and everything else that was going on. It all caused the property boom to just come to an end very suddenly. And then when the boom came to an end, out came sections of the media with Armageddon, cliff edge type prophecies of house price crashes. Now in regards to the housing market, the media is hugely significant, but the quality of the reporting is often lamentable. There's a lot of misinformation out there from the media. We hear things like house prices are completely unaffordable compared to years gone by, but actually the real price of the average house, when you take into account inflation and everything else, is the same now as it was in 2003. We also hear that mortgages are unaffordable as people are having to supposedly spend too much of their take-home pay on mortgage repayments, but the latest data is showing us that around a third of the average first-time buyers' take-home pay is spent on mortgage repayments, and that's in line with the average since 1972. Not to say that things aren't very difficult out there for some people, of course, and we will need to see how the economy fares over the next couple of months. But if perhaps we start to see that the winter hasn't been too severe and we start to get some better news on energy prices that some people are already predicting, then we might start to find that the media changes their message. So my predictions for the market in 2023, well, there is no doubt that there are some buyers currently holding back whilst they wait and see what happens to house prices. But actually, the activity levels we're seeing so far are pretty normal. And I feel that whilst transaction levels might be lower in the first half of this year, I think as we get to the second half of the year, transaction levels will be back to the sort of normal levels we see. What are normal levels? They're around about 95 to 100,000 a month. So in regards to prices, now we think these have already corrected perhaps by around about 5% since the peak that we saw in the early part of 2022. But for 2023, I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and say house price growth is going to be pretty flat. So no real growth in 2023, but also on the flip side, no significant house price falls. I do think estate agents are going to have to work harder than before, and I do think properties are going to take longer to sell as buyers have more choice. But as long as the banks have the appetite that they currently have to lend, and as long as employment levels remain as high as they are currently, I think if you're looking to buy and sell in 2023, then things should definitely be okay. But as always, it will certainly be an interesting period ahead. To stay up to date with the market, please do keep watching these videos. Easiest way to do that is to hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or opinions yourself, then you can always let us know in the comments section below. And if you're thinking about making that next move in 2023, we'd love to hear from you. We're available 7 days a week, 8 till 8. Thanks for watching.